Welcome to Talmudic Treasures. Today we're learning Ketubot page 13, which discusses the situation where literally a woman is midaberes, speaking with a man. And on this, the Talmud says they weren't just speaking. She actually secluded herself. She was in private, all alone with another man. There's no witnesses that they actually had marital relations, but nonetheless, the fact that they locked themselves up is questionable whether or not she will potentially now be invalid to be able to marry a Kohen. And the reason is, if she was with a man who was a mamzer, in which you're not allowed to marry, so if she would have had relations with such a man, she is now going to be invalid or apostle to be able to marry a Kohen. And this is the dispute that's brought down in this Mishnah, whether or not she can be believed to say, no, the man that I was with was a perfectly fine guy, and therefore I should not be invalid to marry a Kohen. Or possibly we say we don't trust her, we don't believe her words, and therefore, in fact, because we want to be able to uphold the higher level when it comes to relationships with a Kohen, we're not going to allow her to be able to marry a Kohen because of this incident. So, first of all, it's interesting, again, the language of our Mishnah. The language is midaberes, that all they were doing was speaking. And of course, there's absolutely nothing wrong with having a friendly conversation with another person, especially just to be nice. However, perhaps the Mishnah is alluding to that if a person is overly friendly with someone, it could potentially lead to yichud, to secluding. And because you end up doing that, the Talmud also says a famous line, Ein lapitropos larayas, that there is no guardian when it comes to the potential of licentious behavior. And once you have secluded yourself with a person that you're infatuated with, there is no question that there is the possibility that you may end up having relations with that person. And there is no apitropos, there's no guardian when it comes to these things. And therefore, perhaps what this is being told is the different levels of progression. That a person could say, it's no big deal, it's an innocent thing, we're just having a friendly conversation. But the question is, what are your true intentions? Is it just being friendly, or is it being flirtatious? It's very possible that one thing could lead to another, and eventually, before you know it, down the slippery slope, here you are secluded, and possibly now putting yourself in a situation where you may end up causing, again, being with this woman and having relations, which of course is forbidden. It's very careful. A person has to be very careful. Therefore, when it comes to having a proper marriage or dating properly and not straying, is by putting yourself in a position to make sure it doesn't happen. But if you're someone that kind of is on the fence and again is flirtatious, is midaberes, so you could end up causing problems. So one of the great pieces of advice I believe this Talmud is telling us is to make sure that we know our place. And a person who is truly faithful to their spouse will not only, of course, not actually commit adultery, they won't even speak in a way with the opposite sex in the event that they potentially may end up having feelings for one another and again leading down the wrong direction, the wrong road.